Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Institute for Humanities orientation for our incoming students and our incoming parents. So today we hope to provide you with some information about our program, our English and our social studies classes, projects and events that make our program so special and unique. My name is Elizabeth Veneziano, and I am the English Language Arts Supervisor for grades 6 through 12 at the West Orange Public Schools. Also with us here today is Miss Annette Towson. She is one of our assistant principals at West Orange High School, and she also oversees or coordinates our Institute for Humanities program. And we also have with us Mr. Michael Figueredo, who is the social studies supervisor for K-12 in our district. And then we have our 4 IH teachers. Miss Janine Sullivan is our English 9 honors teacher, and Miss Alicia Baker is our English 10 honors teacher. And then our social studies teachers are Mr. Miskimen, who teaches 9th grade, and Mr. Wilson Dew, who teaches 10th grade. And we also are lucky enough to have a panel of students, past and present, who will be here to give you the students' view and answer any questions for you, and they will be introduced throughout the program. So we will turn it over to the teachers, and we will provide a slideshow for you, and then of course there will be time for question and answer.
Ms. Thomasy, should I share my screen or are you going to share the presentation?
I will share the presentation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you can advance. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ms. Sullivan. So again, I'm Ms. Sullivan. I teach ELA honors along with Mr. Miskimen is the other 9th grade teacher who teaches modern world history honors. And in 10th grade, we have Miss Alicia Baker, who teaches ELA 10th grade honors, and Mr. Wilson Dew, who teaches US 1 honors. Thank you. So what you're going to do in IH is really have a true interdisciplinary program. We try to connect different branches of the humanities beyond even history and English. We bring in other branches such as art and music, and I'll talk about the field trips a little bit later. In both classes, you're going to be analyzing challenging informational and fictional texts. You're going to continue to develop writing skills that you already started to develop in middle school, using the writing process in both ELA and history. One of the really nice things about our program is that we do these interdisciplinary PBAs, and often you're going to have 2 teachers giving you feedback on those projects. And then individually, in each class, you'll get extensive feedback on writing from both Mr. Miskimen and myself. You won't just be writing in English class, you'll do a lot of writing in history class as well. One of our goals is to help students move into AP courses as 11th and 12th graders. So although this program is limited to 9th and 10th grade, in 11th and 12th grade, the expectation is that students will be prepared and enroll in those courses. And then the great goal of the program, the greatest goal, is to develop skills that are going to help prepare you for the next steps beyond high school, those critical thinking skills that are so important regardless of what field that you go into.
Okay, so again, my name is Mr. Miskimen, and again, I will be your Honors Modern World History teacher next year. So I work kind of alongside Mrs. Sullivan for the first year of the program with the 9th grade students. And as Mrs. Sullivan indicated, one of the things that is a kind of a big part of the program is an interdisciplinary approach to our 2 subject areas. So even though you're going to have our 2 classes as separate periods on your schedule, there are going to be moments throughout the year where Mrs. Sullivan and I are going to help you to kind of see the connections between the study of literature and the study of history, and those other kind of subjects that fall under the umbrella of the humanities. And that you will have quite a few interdisciplinary projects throughout the course of the year, where you're going to bring a lot of the content and the skill sets that you're learning in the two classes together, which will help you to further grow in understanding and an appreciation for the humanities. The first time that you're gonna do this actually is with the joint summer project, which you're going to get more information on later in the presentation. As Mrs. Sullivan indicated, we do a lot of writing in this program. It is certainly a writing intensive program. So the whole goal is for you, through the course of the 2 years of the program, to come out of it, as better writers, with a stronger foundation in the whole writing process. And it's great that you do get that chance to get kind of the joint feedback from the two of us. Unlike students who are in a different, not in this program, who are might be taking honors ELA 9 and honors Modern World History, you really don't see the coordination between those two teachers. But Mrs. Sullivan and I are in constant contact with each other. And when it comes to these joint projects, we grade them together, we design them together, and we grade them together, and we give you that kind of joint feedback. A lot of the projects are also creative in nature. They're designed to kind of tap into your creativity. Usually students who are interested in the humanities, tend to be more creative and more into working on creative projects. So there's a lot that we do, and you can kind of see obviously from the list on the slide. Next slide. So the program, is obviously an honors program. So those of you, obviously you applied and you were accepted into the program. One of the things that obviously was required for you to be able to apply was that your current English and social studies teachers in 8th grade recommended you for the honors level for our two subject areas. So it is an honors-based program, so you should expect it to be rigorous. With the kind of the added IH components, interdisciplinary components, that there is going to be a certain level of rigor, that's kind of designed obviously to challenge you and to kind of constantly grow your skills when it comes to those skills that are a part of our program. That's not to say that it's an impossible program, but you are going to have to work and to work hard to achieve your goals, obviously, of getting high scores. Mrs. Sullivan and I obviously will always be there also to assist you if you are finding that it is, a bit of a challenge, especially in that first marking period. So don't hesitate or don't be afraid to ask for help. It's kind of really important that you do that. I know that probably a lot of the students on the panel will indicate that, when they did ask for help, when they did find that the program was a challenge, that certainly made it a little easier to kind of manage some of the rigors of the program. Time management is obviously important when you're talking about taking an honors level course, especially when you have a lot of long-term projects, where you're given, in a sense, the guidelines, and you have an end due date that might be a month away. You want to make sure that you're not putting things off. Procrastination is certainly something that will definitely be a problem for you within this program, especially when it comes to the long-term tasks. It's important that, when you are absent and you do miss school, just like it is for any class, you want to make sure that you are in constant communication with us about any makeup work that you need to make up. Anytime you're absent, your immediate first step should be to, send an email to Mrs. Sullivan and I to kind of ask what you've missed and what you need to do to start kind of going down the path of getting caught up so that you don't fall behind. Because the longer you're behind, the further behind you fall, obviously, in the course. And then, one of the things that we will certainly also do, within the program, obviously, our program is curricular in that, you are coming to our classes during the school day, but we will certainly kind of point you in the right direction to joining many of the wonderful extracurricular offerings that West Orange High School has. Many of them are obviously connected to the humanities, so we certainly want to help to kind of promote them and steer you in the direction. So if you're kind of wondering about extracurricular programs that the high school has to offer, Mrs. Sullivan and I can definitely be a resource to help kind of guide you to kind of any clubs or programs that might be up your alley. Next slide.
Field trips. Okay. So before this year, what we've done kind of as a tradition, our last field trip of the year, for the last field trip of the year, we actually go to the ballet. And through our field trip experiences, that's how we bring in other branches of the humanities. You can extend to the next, you can go to the next slide. We have a bunch of in-school field trips, as well as at-school field trips. Shakespeare Live has done a number of performances for us. These are some photos of Midsummer Night's Dream. They've also performed, I think, Romeo and Juliet in the past. You can go to the next one. The New York Museum is a trip that students go on in 10th grade. We can go to the next slide. The Metropolitan Museum of Art is the first field trip of the year for freshman students, where we look at art that connects with Mr. Miskimmen's curriculum. Move on to the next slide. Lincoln Center has interactive programs that we've participated in the past. We saw The Moth Stories, and that's LaShans, who is a Broadway actor and performer. And this year, we did actually have some field trips, be it virtual, that were interactive. We did an interactive poetry experience with NJ Pack, and then another one, the Dodge Poetry Festival. We made an extra effort to bring in guest speakers this year because we were not able to do those field trips. So Dr. Angie Beeman spoke to our class. She's a professor at Baruch. She spoke to us about basically the creation of race in our country. And then Daniela Shapiro, who is a graphic novelist, spoke to us about her craft and her process. Her graphic novel is, what she did was she wrote about Holocaust stories, and she spoke to our class this year. You can move on to the next one.
Okay, so as I mentioned, you will have a summer assignment to complete for the IH program. West Orange High School generally does have summer assignments, especially for honors courses. So there is an IH 9th grade summer assignment. These assignments will be posted eventually on the West Orange High School website. There will be a menu option for summer assignments with folders that are kind of organized by the departments. So you'll actually find the IH 9th grade summer assignment in both the ELA folder and also in the social studies folder. It is the same assignment, so it's not two separate assignments for each subject area. It is a singular assignment that you take for the program that kind of counts for both courses. So it's really important. What I'm about to say will, if you're paying attention and you understand, and obviously you'll get a chance to ask questions if you don't, it's really important that you realize that you, as IH 9th grade students, incoming 9th grade students, you are not responsible for completing the Honors English 9 and the Honors Modern World History summer assignments. Those are for students who are not in the IH program. So you guys basically complete a completely separate summer assignment that is specifically designed for this program. So you can completely ignore the Honors English 9 and the Honors Modern World History summer assignments, because again, those are for students who are taking those honors courses but are not in the IH program. So basically what our summer assignment entails is reading, which we hope that you guys love to do, because that's obviously a big part of our program as well. You are going to select from a list of novels. You're going to select one novel to read over the course of the summer. And that's basically what you're required to do through the course of the summer, is just to read the novel. So the expectation is that you have completed the reading of it, prior to that first day of school. Now, I would recommend, Mrs. Sullivan and I probably would recommend that maybe you do maybe keep a little reading journal, take some notes on your thoughts about the novel, because there is going to be some things that you're going to do. There are going to be some things that you do in those first couple weeks of school in September. So especially if you've read the novel kind of earlier in the summer, you want maybe notes to kind of be able to look back to on your reactions to the novel. But certainly, again, that's not required. That's not going to be something that you hand in for a grade. It's just something that might benefit you for what you do when you do come in September. Now the novels, they're all fiction. They all relate to a material that you will learn from me next year. So they all are, kind of set within a historical setting. So that's where you're getting, for the very first time, a chance to see the connections between the two subject areas. Now, when you come to school in September, within those first 2 weeks, in both my class and Mrs. Sullivan's class, you will be engaging in discussion about these novels that you've read. So you need to be prepared for that. And then lastly, in Mrs. Sullivan's class, and she's going to provide you with a lot of guidance in regards to this, so it's not something that you need to panic over. But in Mrs. Sullivan's class, you are going to write an in-class essay on the novel that you chose to read. And this will be kind of that first kind of writing assignment where Mrs. Sullivan and I are going to kind of use it as a way to get a feel for where your writing ability is. And it will be scored and graded and will count as a grade for both Mrs. Sullivan's class and my class. So that is the summer assignment. And again, it's not on the school website yet, but before this school year ends, you'll be notified that summer assignments are now available on the high school website. Next slide. And then lastly, to kind of conclude the presentation, if at any point you have any questions about the IH program, about the summer assignment, any questions at all through the course of now and obviously the start of the school year, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Our emails are there on the screen. If you want to jot them down now. I would suggest that you send the email with the question to both of us, and I guarantee that one of us is going to get back to you pretty quickly with an answer to your question. So please, do not hesitate to reach out to us if there's any questions that you have about the program or the summer assignment.
Thank you, Mr. Miskimen. So at this point, we thought before we took questions, we thought some of our students who are here with us, current and former IH students, if anyone had some comments they wanted to make about the program. I think Kat and Olivia wanted to say a few things. Kat, you want to start? Introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm currently in IH. I've been doing it in freshman year and now I'm in sophomore year. And I mean, I personally highly recommend it. I think if you're on the fence about it, you should 100% do it. It's been a great experience, brought me to a lot closer with a lot of people because it forms a community. Because the thing with the classes is that you're with the same people for both classes. So like you're going to be with these people for a lot of your classes. So you're going to be you're going to have a good community with these people and they're good to rely on. So that's a big tip, like rely on the people in your classes. It's difficult to say, like talk about my experience personally because, and I'm sure that some of the freshmen might feel the same way because we've been doing it in quarantine. I've been in IH longer in quarantine than out of it. But while I was in, I guess, normal school, it was a really good experience. I learned a lot about, I mean, obviously how to write, since it is like humanities, you're going to learn about how to write and you're going to be doing a lot of writing, but like it's just, you learn so much. And like I did feel ahead of my friends who were like just in honors even, because the teachers are really good. So just to hype them up a little bit, but yeah, so I mean, just like as for now, for like what we've learned from the presentation so far, yeah, I would 100% recommend doing IH. Don't listen to the IMS kids, they don't know what they're talking about. So just yeah, I mean, it's an experience more than anything else. So
Thanks, Kat. We'll edit that out later, right? Oh, just kidding. Olivia.
Hi, everyone. Actually, so when I was asked to speak today on the panel, I very eagerly accepted because I was so excited to talk about this program because it's really something that I really valued as a part of my high school experience. I think before going into IH, I was definitely intimidated, because it is a rigorous program and it's intimidated for good reason. But I think through the program, because it's a pretty writing intensive and reading intensive program, my essay writing just transformed through doing this program, and the constant DBQs and the in-class essays, and it becomes easier and easier as you do them more often, and you have these incredibly supportive teachers that are so good at what they do, and can look at your writing and give you the correct advice and support in making you a better, a better student. And these are like fundamental, writing and reading are like fundamental skills that you are going to continue to carry with you, throughout your school, but throughout the rest of, your school years, but also beyond. And I think like even, in the years after I did IH in 11th and 12th grade, all of the essays I had to write for my other classes, like it felt so much easier because I'd gotten so much better through my freshman and sophomore years when it came to my writing. And now I'm a 12th grader, so I am going to college next year, and I am going into a humanities major, and I'm planning on majoring in political science. And I think my passion for the humanities, and that I really do attribute a lot of it to my involvement in IH. It is such an awesome program. I had, all the field trips and the opportunities. It was something I was definitely super, super grateful for. And, the program itself is also awesome, but also just the teachers, all of my favorite student experiences in high school were with my IH teachers. They really just kind of shaped me into so much better, like I just transformed as a student. And it's really important to have great teachers, especially with something like the humanities. So yeah, I'm definitely so grateful to have had the opportunity to do IH, and I'm so thrilled that everyone coming tonight, students and parents, that you've chosen IH. I really think you made the right decision.
Thank you, Kat and Olivia. Any other comments before we take questions? Okay, I think we're ready for questions.
Okay, so if everybody notices at the bottom of their screen, there should be a Q&A button. And if you post your questions, you can post them by name, or you can also post them anonymously. And if you have a question for a specific person, you can include their name. Otherwise, Ms. Sullivan and Mr. Miskimen will ask someone to address it. So let's just wait 1 second and see if questions start to roll in. And so far, your presentation was very thorough. Oh, there we go. How many students will be in each class?
Mr. Figueredo, I don't know if that's something maybe that you can
Yeah,
answer.
Mr. Figs, or
I will need to look that up. No, I can answer that question. I'm happy to answer that question. Typically, we have, no more than about 22 students in a class in the IH enrollment. So we're probably in that range.
Okay, there's a question about certain novels that are being read at the beginning of freshman year. Can someone address what the actual reading will be?
Sure. Well, we're constantly updating our curriculum and evaluating the text. I know I'm evaluating the text I'm going to teach, and I know that Ms. Baker does the same thing. But generally, in the first marking period, we read short stories. And this year, students read stories by Toni Morrison, Neil Gaiman. In the past, we've read stories by Poe and Hemingway. Try to mix it up a little bit every year. And then second marking period, we read Animal Farm by George Orwell. We read Romeo and Juliet. We read Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. And the last marking period, which we're in right now, we actually have a world literature unit where students read contemporary stories written by authors outside of the United States. And we have a Socratic seminar on that. So that's kind of the structure of the year.
Okay, there's a question about when students are given an in-class essay, do they have one class period to complete the essay, or is it spread throughout a few periods?
I think we probably all have different ways we approach this. I'll just start by saying, sometimes my students have one period to complete an essay, and other times I will assign a take-home essay. I'll hand that over to.
Yeah, it's similar for social studies. Obviously, one of the skills when it comes to writing is being able to kind of handle the challenge of an in-class essay, which is it's a timed assessment, obviously. So that you will have a number of in-class written assessments. That's something that we certainly build towards. Obviously, with social studies, the DBQ assessment is something that we work on throughout the course of the year. That's something that we build up to. So it's a lot of kind of guidance and teaching and tutorials that'll kind of get you hopefully, prepared to kind of take on that challenge. And then in addition to that, as Mrs. Sullivan said, you have more of the kind of long-term, full writing process, prepared pieces of writing where you're given a task to kind of complete and you're working on it over the course of time.
There's a question about when you think that you might find out about the summer assignments and what novels are assigned for the summer.
The summer assignment, I believe, is going to be posted before the end of the school year, but I can tell you right now, the choice of novels, you need to read one of them, will include, and it might go beyond this, In the Time of Butterflies by Alvarez, The Fisherman by Obiama, All the Light We Cannot See by Dorr, The Poisonwood Bible by Kingsolver, The Joy Luck Club by Tan, and The Book Thief by Zuzak. So right now, those are the 6 novels that are on the list, but I might be adding to that.
And typically the summer assignments are posted by the second week in June.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, or do you have questions specifically for the students? And I don't think so. Maybe we've covered everything. If another question comes up, I'll bring it to your attention, but would you guys like to make any closing remarks?
I'd like to just thank our parents and our 9th grade IH students for joining us tonight. We love having the opportunity to tell you about this wonderful honors program, but mostly we're just excited about you joining us in September. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to the freshman teachers. They've given you their email addresses, Mr. Miskimen and Ms. Sullivan. They are absolutely amazing. You're going to love being in class with them. But mostly we just, we love talking about the program. We're so happy that you were able to be with us tonight and look forward to seeing you in September.
Okay, everybody's tile is on. Anybody else want to add anything? Okay, I think at this time we will sign off. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and there will be a recording that can be passed on to anyone who missed this. You can request it from Ms. Towson or from Ms. Sullivan.
Right, but we'll also post it on the West Orange High School website.
Right. Oh, one more question, hold on. What are your thoughts about trips for next year? Do you think that they will happen given our remote situation this year?
We're certainly hoping that that we will be able to have live experiences for students. But unfortunately, we really can't guess about whether or not that will happen. Certainly, if we're permitted to do that, if it's a safe environment, we will, without doubt, make sure we provide that for students. We'll do the best we can.
Okay, I think that that's it. So we will sign off at this time. Thank everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.